The stage was set for one of the most intriguing heavyweight battles in recent memory. Two nations, two warriors, two colossal figures standing face to face. From New Zealand came Joseph Parker, the former world champion, known for his composure, speed, and technical mastery. A man with granite resolve, Parker wasn't just fighting for victory. He was fighting to climb back to the very top of the heavyweight throne. Across from him stood Zhilei Zhang, China's towering southpaw, nicknamed Big Bang for a reason. With his crushing left hand, his sheer size, and the kind of power that could end a fight in a heartbeat, Zhang wasn't just another contender. He was a wrecking force, a nightmare for anyone who dared to stand in front of him. The arena roared as both men made their way into the ring. Parker, calm and focused, his eyes sharp with determination. Zhang, when the opening bell rang, the tension snapped. Zhang immediately pressed forward, his southpaw stance awkward, dangerous, unpredictable. Parker circled, measuring, probing, firing quick jabs, testing the giant's defense. Every movement was heavy with danger. Every punch carried the potential to change everything. Fans leaned forward, hearts racing, as the first exchanges landed. Parker's speed cracked through the guard, but Zhang's counters, slow, deliberate, monstrous, sent shockwaves through the crowd. The question wasn't just who would win. The question was who would survive. This wasn't just a fight. This was a collision of power, skill, and destiny. And the storm was only beginning. As the early tension gave way to the middle rounds, the fight transformed into a battlefield of wills. Parker, relying on his agility, darted in and out, firing sharp combinations, refusing to stand in Zhang's strike zone for too long. His jab was crisp, his footwork tight, a clear attempt to chip away at the giant piece by piece. But Zhang was patient, too patient. He didn't need volume, he needed opportunity. And when it came, it was terrifying. A single thudding left hand crashed against Parker's guard, the sound echoing like a cannon blast through the arena. Even when it didn't land clean, the sheer weight of it forced Parker backward. The contrast between the two was dramatic. Parker, quick, flicking punches in bunches, fighting like a man dancing on the edge of a cliff. Zhang, slow but deliberate, stalking, waiting for his moment to deliver devastation. Every time Parker stepped too close, the crowd gasped, knowing one mistake could cost him everything. By the fifth, the intensity was unbearable. Zhang landed a heavy right hook that staggered Parker for the first time. The crowd erupted as the New Zealander reeled backward, his composure tested under fire. But Parker, showing his championship heart, bit down on his mouthpiece and roared back with a flurry, snapping Zhang's head with a clean uppercut. The garden shook with noise, two heavyweights trading leather. By the sixth, Parker's strategy was clear. He wasn't going to stand toe-to-toe with Zhang's monstrous power. Instead, he began to weave angles, slipping inside the southpaw jab, darting away before Zhang's heavy counters could find him. His combinations became sharper. A jab, a right hand, followed by hooks to the body that forced Zhang to slow, even if only for moments. But Zhang wasn't frustrated. If anything, he thrived in these moments of patience. He knew his size alone kept Parker on the edge of danger. Every time Parker tried to build momentum, Zhang's presence loomed, forcing him to reset. In the seventh, Parker landed one of his best punches, a clean right hand straight through Zhang's guard. The crowd roared as Zhang's head snapped back, but the giant didn't budge. Instead, he smirked, as if daring Parker to try harder. Seconds later, Zhang returned fire with a brutal left that shook Parker to his core. The fight had become a test of nerve. Parker's skill and speed versus Zhang's power and patience. Round after round, Parker worked, landing more, moving more, forcing Zhang to chase. But with every second that passed, the looming threat of Zhang's knockout power made the air electric with tension. By the 8th, the clash was no longer just physical, it was mental. Parker had to remain perfect. Zhang only needed one mistake. Every feint, every step, every punch carried weight. The audience knew that the balance could tilt with a single blow, and in those moments, it felt less like sport and more like survival. By the 9th round, the tension in the arena was at its peak. Parker had boxed smartly, piling up points with his speed and combinations, but Zhang's presence was still terrifying. Everyone knew that his left hand carried fight-ending danger, and the giant wasn't about to let the night slip away quietly. Halfway through the round, Zhang exploded. A perfectly timed left cross crashed against Parker's chin, sending shockwaves through the crowd. Parker stumbled backward, his legs betraying him for a brief second. Gasps filled the air. Was this the moment the giant would seize control? Zhang stepped forward, smelling blood, hurling hooks with bone-shattering intent. Each swing drew roars, each miss. The New Zealander's face bore the bruises of battle. His body slowed under the weight of punishment. Yet, even in those dark seconds, he showed a champion's heart. The 10th round began with Zhang charging forward again, the crowd on its feet. Another thundering left whistled past Parker's guard, grazing his temple. A collective scream erupted from the audience. As the final rounds began, the fight had become a question of survival, strategy, and sheer will. Parker, battered but relentless, moved with urgency, firing combinations as though his legacy depended on every punch. Zhang, still dangerous, hunted with heavy steps, each movement a reminder that the knockout threat never left. In the 11th, Parker found rhythm. His jabs snapped like lightning. His right hand pierced through Zhang's guard, and the combinations grew. The crowd roared as the New Zealander pushed forward, refusing to let fatigue or fear stop him. He knew he had to bank the rounds, because a single mistake could cost him everything. Zhang, though slowing, remained a monster. Late in the round, he unleashed another thunderous left that crashed onto Parker's jaw. For a split second, Parker froze, then stumbled to the ropes. The crowd leapt to its feet, sensing the end. Zhang followed with massive hooks, each one swinging the fight closer to chaos. But Parker, bloodied and bruised, clung to his survival. With incredible composure, he tied up, circled out, and answered back with defiance. The 12th round was pure war. Both men emptied their tanks, Parker firing combinations with heart, Zhang marching forward with menace. Punch after punch echoed like gunfire in the arena. It wasn't just boxing, it was survival, pride, and history colliding under the lights. When the final bell rang, the crowd erupted into thunderous applause. Both men raised their arms, warriors to the last second. The scorecards were read, Parker edging it with his work rate and precision, but Zhang walking away with his reputation as one of the most dangerous men in the division intact. The legacy was clear. Parker proved his grit, Zhang proved his power, and the fans? They witnessed a night of pure, unforgettable boxing drama.